Welcome to the Boone Podcast. I'm your host, Bret Boone, and today on the program, I'm joined by a five-time All-Star. Four times he won the Gold Glove. He's the host of his own podcast as well. It's the Adam Jones Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Adam Jones. Adam, thanks for coming on the program.
Booney, for you, man, you already know I'll do anything for you. Just like you told me as an 18-year-old kid, you said, kid, just give me the damn ball. I don't care where it's at, just give
That's
me the damn
right.
ball. And that's when we was turning double plays. And I remember throwing one way behind you, and you just turned it. And as soon as I released it, I'm like, oh my damn. But I've watched you flip it and turn it, and you run off the field just like, that's what up. That a baby. And I'm like,
That's right. I do remember that because that's something that comes up, Adam, all the time. It's a little bit different now with the rule change and guys can't take you out, so it's not as imperative. But you're right. Back then, any new guy I worked with in the middle, I'd always say they said, because in spring training, for example, you were a shortstop for a long time before
mhm.
you moved to center field, and you're always working with a partner and you have preferences. Hey, where do you like the ball? This side or that ball? You're right. I always used to say, I said, I don't care where you throw it. Just hit me. Just get it in my vicinity, and then I can work with it. Because the earlier I get it, now I have time. If you get it to me late and you miss your spot, now I'm in trouble. Now that guy's on top of me barreling down. That's cool that you remember that because I always used to say that I forgot. I haven't heard that for a long time, but it's the truth. Get me the
You
damn
know,
ball.
one of my best memories. I mean, and that was how I played the game. Is get the ball in. Is when I went to center field, get the ball into the middle infielders as quick as possible. Just get the ball in as quick as possible. And that was a very important lesson for just how I played the game. It's just how I played defense.
Um, my career, I was kind of known as a Mariner. Obviously, you're known as an Oriole.
You're a Padre to me, though. I don't care what you say.
I'm a Padre.
You're a
I
Padre.
was
You're
there
a
one
Padre
year.
to me. You're a
Um,
Padre to me. I don't care. You, Kevin Brown. Y'all Padres to me.
how close you paying attention to this team this year? They won 101 games. They just announced Brandon Hyde, Manager of the Year, beat out Bruce Bochy, who pretty
Hmm.
unprecedented comeback. Gunnar Henderson just won the Rookie of the Year. Um, and the Orioles have gone a long time. They're 2 years removed for 110 loss season. They're on the map. It looks like from what I see from this team, especially the back half of the bullpen. I know Bautista went down late. Looks like a team that's going to be good for years to come.
I mean, I've watched them since the day I left. Obviously, I played for Arizona, then went to Japan, but I still paid attention to what was going on in Bergland because that is my home, my second home. That is my identity as a professional athlete. And I always root for them. And I told them when I went back there this year, I've been rooting for you guys the second I left here, no matter what. And it's good to see them have success. It's good for the fan base also because it is a deep, enriched baseball fan base. I know that football gets the garnership because they've won championships in the last decades recently. So obviously, with their track record and their success, they get the attention. But what Brandon Hyde has done, what Mike Elias has done, what the Angelos' family has done, by putting them in the position to succeed, has been great. Obviously, you got Gunnar Henderson winning Rookie of the Year, Adley Rushman, one of the best catchers in the game, Austin Hayes, a finalist in the Gold Glove, an All Star. They're starting to garner more awards, and I think that when you start to garner more awards as a team, that means, and individually, I should say, but for the team, I think that means that people are noticing your team is good. When I first got to Baltimore, we had one All Star, maybe a Gold Glover here and there, but one All Star. Then we became good in 2012, and we get three All Stars, and then six All Stars. So when you have, I think that the team success helps out when it comes to the individuality because when you got 101 wins, people are going to pay attention and they're going to start to see how did this team do this, and you're going to put more people on the map. And to that, next year, 2024, guys are going to be aiming for them. So I just want them to be prepared, and I think that they understand that the bullseye is going to be on them.
I think it's cool the parity that we're bringing into the game. During my time in that American League East, it was always every year. It seemed like it was the Yankees and the Red Sox. I thought that rivalry was good for baseball, but it's nice to see that it's broken up Tampa Bay kind of in the late 2000s kind of broke through and became a force. Recently, it seems like they go to the playoffs every year. They haven't found a way to win that World Series. And I don't say that lightly because you played for a long time. Winning a World Series, people win World Series like, oh, yeah, he won a World Series. Man, that's a big deal. And it's really hard to do. And each and every year when the winner is crowned, I sit there and I watch and I go, I just hope these guys appreciate how hard it is, man. Because I played a long time. I got there, never got to win one, but it's a special thing. The tide is changing now, and it's not the Yankees and the Red Sox every year. By the Orioles breaking through this year, it's the Orioles. Toronto Blue Jays got a young, uh, almost a lot of people would say underachieving team at this point. More people expected more out of that Toronto team. The Rays are still a factor every year. It's a wide open division with the Orioles kind of doing what they did this year, saying, "Hey, we're here," and I think probably the best division in all of baseball right now. It'll be interesting what happens in the coming years. Does this make the Yankees go out and spend a bunch of money and get some players? That's what the Orioles winning does to other teams. What do the Red Sox do this offseason? It'll be interesting. Your take.
And exactly I was going to say is by the Orioles winning, all the other franchises, especially the big two juggernauts, the Yankees and the Red Sox, are like, hold on. They had a $60-70 million payroll, and they're just steamrolling, beating the crap out of us all the last couple of years. What are we doing wrong? Obviously, you see Boston had a change with the general manager, a new general manager coming in, and Boston. They're not going to take a couple losing years lightly. They are a winning franchise, a winning city. So they're going to be back on the prowl in 2024. The Yankees the same way. There's no such thing as rebuild in New York. So they're going to be back. And I think that's exciting. I think what the Orioles did in 2023 is it made everybody be like, oh, these youngsters, first off, development. I mean, I think the Orioles have developed their prospects the best in the division and right next to Tampa. Tampa's done a terrific job developing their guys. You see every person that comes up is ready to play in the big leagues. They never skip a beat, no matter who goes down. Glasnow goes down, so they're still 95 wins. Another starter goes down, that doesn't matter. Franco suspended, that doesn't matter. They still maintain. So they have a great formula. Like I said, Toronto, to me, I think is the most talented team in all of baseball. On paper, per position, I would say they're putting pound for pound the most talented team. And yeah, I think they underachieved because I think a lot of people had them as a playoff team. And they got to the first. No, I don't think they didn't make the playoffs this year. And for them, I would even say, well, if you ask them, they would say it's underachieving because of the talent that they have and how good they are. I mean, Gosman in finishing in the top of Cy Young finalists. Like, there's so much talent in the American League East, and I think 2024 it's going to get back to where it's 5 competitive teams rather than 2 to 3 like it was this year.
And it can be too now. I mean, on a given year, and it's probably unlikely with the new format where it's everybody plays everybody and it's not division
Mm-hmm.
heavy like it used to be. Mathematically, 4 teams can come out of there and go to the playoffs because there's so many spots now. There's
Yeah.
12 spots. So mathematically, that can happen. I don't know. That's going to be a tough division for years to come. Talk about playing in Baltimore. You played there, I believe, 11 seasons. I
Yeah.
remember when
11
Camden
years.
Yards. I remember when Camden Yard was relatively new. Kind of, I remember when I knew Camden Yards when Griffey had the home run derby at Camden Yards and he hit the building. That kind of put it on the map nationwide. For years and years, I'd go to Baltimore, and this is before you even started playing. And everybody loved going to Baltimore. Oh, going to Camden Yards. It was the new state of the art stadium. Baltimore in the early 2000s, for me, they weren't very good. And hitters couldn't wait to get there. And I couldn't
Ooh.
stand it. I'd get there, Adam. You ever have a yard that's nice, it's beautiful, you can't get a hit? That's me
Yeah.
at Camden Yard. It was just one of those things like, man, I hope the crab's good this trip because I don't know how many hits I'm going to get, but I know the crab's going to be good. Talk
My
about
first
you
couple of
playing there.
years,
Go ahead.
my first oh 08 and '09 when I got traded over there, I mean, hitters were running to the bat, to the batter's box against us. I mean, it was a track meet. And we were a rebuilding team. So we had a lot of young prospects mixed with some veterans with with Millar, Ramon Hernandez, B Rob. So we had some mixtures of some guys. I played with Jay Payton, who taught me a lot. But for me, it was an opportunity to go out there and play every single day. In Seattle, I knew the situation. Um, when Felix became the man, and then Ichiro moved to center field. These guys, like they wanted to win, and when you want to win, prospects are expendable. I was told early on by Mark McLemore, "Hey, I know you got drafted by the Mariners. You're playing for 29 other teams when you're in the minor leagues. So go out there every day and play hard because somebody is watching." So when I got over to Baltimore, I was like, you know what? I got an opportunity to play every single day. The manager said it's your job to lose, and hey, you know me. If you give me something, you give me a task, I'm gonna fulfill it. And for 10 and a half years, I went out there every day as the everyday center fielder until Mullins came, and the natural progression. He manned center field, and he's taken over center field now. But I appreciated every inning I ever got to play in Baltimore. The fans, they were they were I would say they were with me, especially if I was really willing and ready to play hard. I think fans these days, they're tired of excuses, especially with social media now. There's so many ways you can make an excuse. Baltimore, they don't care about that. That's a blue collar city. They just asked me to play hard, and that's all I tried to do. The accolades, I see you got your Gold Gloves, your Silver Sluggers, the All Stars. Like the accolades came from my teammates putting me in the best position. Um, you know, Unfortunately, my pitchers gave up some line drives, high exit velocity balls, and I was able to go run them down. That's helped me win some Gold Gloves. But my teammates put me in the best positions, and by me being healthy every day, going out there every single day, playing hard, playing hurt, playing injured. We all go out and play our own way, and battle our own injuries. But the fans just appreciated the way I played. The community appreciated the way I presented myself, and it was a blast. So, hopefully in the future, I'm able to get back in the city and work in the organization, work in the city, because I think that the legacy that I have there, it can be continued because I did so much in the community. And now that, sorry that Brooks Robinson has passed, Boo Powell is a little older, Cal Ripken is older, has a lot of things on his plate. I think it's the perfect time for me to implement myself in that city, in that organization, and just take over because there's so much that I left unfinished because I left at 33. I think now that if I was able to come back, there's so much I can do in that community, in that city, not just on the baseball field. They have that, but in the community, in the city, I think I can do really, really big things in Baltimore in the future.
The thing that resonates with me that what you said is the ability to play every day and be on the field. I had Eric Karros, the ex Dodger, on, and something that really resonates with me that he said, Booney, there should be a sixth. When you're scouting somebody, there's five categories. There's arm strength. There's you know hitting. You're a four now, and you could be a six. He said there should be a sixth category, and that's for the ability to post. I look at your career, and you came up in 06, minimal
Mhm.
playing time, 06, 07, 08's when you took the reins and you were the guy. I don't see a year that the least amount of plate appearances you had in your entire career was over 500. You don't see that much. You don't see that even in my generation. You did on occasion, but you definitely don't see it in today's generation of guys. The ability to post, I think it's so important. And yeah, some guys are more vulnerable to being hurt. Some guys just genetically aren't built to stay healthy. They pull hamstrings,
Yeah.
and some guys are blessed. But there's also a part of taking care of yourself and the way you play the game, allowing yourself to be out there and to be accountable to your teammates. I always felt that too as a player. I felt like my guys depend on me when I go to the ballpark. They depend on me being in the lineup. And the fact that when I looked at your resume and your at bats per year, you were about as healthy and posted about as well as anybody in your generation.
Yeah. Um, I got over to Baltimore. It all started with, I mean, my first trainer I had in pro ball, Rick Griffin. Hey, hey, kid. He told me about my body, about my biometrics. He's the first person to tell me about my hip. He was like, "You got FAI, femoral acetabular impingement. These are workouts that you can do to make it strong to stay on the field. A lot of people have had this, and some people have not played out their careers because of this." And he told me early, this is how you handle it. Then I get traded over to Baltimore. I got Richie Bansales. Richie Bansales is second senior or third senior at the time to Rick Griffin and the guy in Chicago at the time, and for the White Sox. And I get over there and I'm like, well, damn, he had Cal Ripken. Let me ask him for a day off. Let me go into his office and say, hey Richie, I got a sore knee. My back is tweaked. I need a day off. I never went in there with a day off. And to this day, me and him talk about that. He said, you never came in there and ever asked me or tried to convince me that you couldn't play. You always try to convince me that you could play. Even though I knew that you shouldn't play, you convinced me that you could play. And that was always my mentality is I need to be on that field. But also I learned how to take care of my body. I learned how on road trips, not to take batting practice every day, not to shag every single day. I learned how to, especially once the summer starts. In Baltimore, the summers is warm. Learn how to minimize my on-field activity and give all my energy to the game. And I learned how to do that. Wayne Kirby was very instrumental in helping me learn how to conserve my energy because I'd go out there and I'm 22, 23. I can just go shag all day, not realizing that, come 7, 8 o'clock, I'm just gassed, not thinking that. And, just it was the small things that helped me preserve myself. And, obviously I was giving myself, it goes to my parents too. They gave me some good bones. You drank milk as a kid. And, it's that sixth tool, like you said, is knock on wood. And I've never really been hurt in my life. So it's just, or injured, I should say. So it's just a sixth tool of awareness, body awareness, biometrics. And, at the same time, I always played with my hair on fire. I never played scared. Like, oh, if like you see me run into walls, I never was like, let me brace for this wall. I'm like, I'm about to catch this ball. This wall is about to get this body. So I just think it was a culmination of everything. And then having the right, just the right people around me, right people pushing me, and the right trainers.
How easy was your switch from shortstop to center fielders? Now, I played second my entire career. I was a shortstop through college, and to this day, I always say, when people ask, I said, I can tell you this: always the most talented guy on the field is a shortstop, especially at the big league level. If you can play short in the big leagues, you can play anywhere. Not true for other positions. If you can play first
Mm-hmm.
base, that doesn't mean you can run out and play center field. But most shortstops, if I give them a glove, and you know this, they can go play anywhere. How was
Mm-hmm.
the transition for you to center field when you were told you were going to be a center fielder? Did you embrace it? Were you a little resilient to it? Tell me how that went down.
So I remember this day like yesterday. It was August 3rd in '05, and I'm in San Antonio, Double A, and everybody just got called up. Unieski Betton just got called up to the big leagues. Mike Morris got called up to the big leagues, and I get called up to Double A. And 3 days after Bettencourt is there, it's a organizational email. Everybody switching from shortstop to outfield or some other position except for as Jubal Cabrera. So me, Tuyasa Sopo, Mike Morris, we're gone. We're the big shortstops, 6'2", 6'3" shortstops. You guys are going to different positions. And I had Gary Thurman at the time, and he explained it to me. He's like, hey, I know you want to play shortstop, that's your position, but he said, hey, it don't matter. As long as you're in the big leagues, that's the ultimate goal, right? And I'm like, hell yeah. I was like, all right, hey, it is what it is. Only thing that sucked about it was I was in San Antonio and I had to go out at 3 o'clock in ball soup and go
Yeah.
shag, and then go back and take ground balls and then play the game. So that month of adjusting was really exhausting. I got to play 2 games out there. I got 1 ball in 2 games, and then I went to the fall league. And I get to the fall league, and Frank Maddox, R.I.P. to Frank Maddox, he tells me, he's like, yeah, you're not gonna play shortstop no more, son. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you're not. I'm like, okay, all right, I get it. But he's like, I got you a coach with your fall league team that you're gonna love. Gary Pettis taught me how to
Gary
play center field
Pettis.
on a daily basis. We went out there every day. He's like, kid, I was assigned with a task to teach you how to play center field, and I will not fail you. And to this day, every time I see Pettis, man, this is the dude who helped me play center field. Obviously, there's guys along the road. Gary Thurman on the way, Gary Pettis, T-Bone Shelby, um, Wayne Kirby. These are guys that helped me be a confident center fielder, be an aggressive center fielder, and I think when Bill Bavasi, I think the underlying thing is I told him this a couple of years ago on another interview. I told Bill Bavasi, I said, you know what? I appreciate what you did. I know it probably wasn't easy, and because it's you're telling your first rounder we got to move you to another position and all this. Other guys, okay, you're the 6th rounder, 18th rounder, do whatever you need to do. And I just told him thank you because like Wayne Kirby always said, if I was playing shortstop, I'd be playing in Mexico and for the Tomateros, and I would have never made it to the major league and had the career that I had. So, Bill Bavasi gets a lot of credit for making a hard decision, and a lot of GMs have to make these decisions. A lot of guys that you see in the major leagues now didn't start at that position, and I'm sure it was a hard conversation that a lot of them have had, and I embraced it. I said, hey, I can get to the big leagues quicker. Put me where I need to be.